Hey, what's going on, Hellbillies, and hopefully a few Hellbetties out there? It's Reverend here. So, I wanted to talk to you today about this Glarry guitar that I got. This was a $75 guitar, and I was looking to do a relic guitar. I wanted to do something that was a little Stevie Ray Vaughan and a little John Mayer. So this kind of fit the bill for me on a little bit of both, and it's the sunburst, the tobacco. Had the brown perlite pickguard, which I love, those brown perlite pickguards. This one came with the rosewood neck, which I'm not a humongous fan of rosewood necks, but so I really figured that I was taking the neck off anyway, so it didn't really matter. Actually, I'm going to put another rosewood neck on here, but it's a Squire neck. It's an Indonesian Squire. It's like a 92, so it's kind of an old, I guess it's kind of old, huh? It's, 92. That's a long time ago. It was an Infinity. It's got the big 70s headstock. I got it over there. I'll show you in a minute. So I wanted to give you a rundown on this Glarry guitar. So, $75 guitar. I got it a couple weeks ago. I've already started to do some relicking on the side just because I wanted to see how the paint was going to work and how it was going to come off and all that kind of stuff. So, I want to do a heavy relic on this guitar. It was $75. Now, I can't really... there's a lot of places that I buy stuff from. I really couldn't get a body painted for $75. I was about there, you know what I'm saying? I could probably get one on sale. Guitar Fetish I do a lot of stuff with. I could probably got one there. But I was like, I gotta see what a $75 guitar is like, because I was just interested, and they said, oh, you can return it if you don't like it. Oh, okay, well let's give it a shot. I got the guitar. It's super light. I mean, this guitar is so light. It's just like mind-blowing how light it is. I seen Phil McKnight. He redid one of these and did it all crazy. So I was like, well, let's just give it a shot. $75. So I got it. Like I said, I'm going to relic this guitar. I'm going to change out the pickups. I'm going to change out the neck. I'm going to change out the tuners. I think I got to change out the block. I don't know if you guys can see that. But that block, this is the block here where the strings go through. I've never seen one so thin and small. And I could just tell that it's way, way, way too light. Usually like if you get a better block, it's like a titanium block. It's got some weight to it. It has a lot to do with the sustain and everything. So I'm going to change that out. So anyway, $75. It came with they call it a gig bag. I wouldn't call it a gig bag. I call it a dust cover. I'm going to grab it. Hold on. Dust cover. No padding at all, But the nice thing about this is when it's sitting in the stand over there, maybe not this guitar, but like my JB Player parts guitar, my Telestrat, I throw it in this bag, and then it's like a dust cover. It's no big deal. So, I mean, if you bought it off of Amazon, that would cost you $12 or whatever. So it was that. Came with a cord, which I would never use that cord. It came with a black strap, which is nice, no hearts on it or anything like I see today on somebody else's channel. The whammy bar's in there, and a couple Allen wrenches are in there. So today was the first day that I actually said, okay, I'm going to do this with you guys, and I pulled the guitar out and I tuned it up for the first time. So, I mean, it wasn't way out of tune, but that action, I don't know if you can see that action, it's really bad. It's really bad. So, this guitar would need a professional setup, which for $75, you really can't, you can't complain about that. I would take it to my local guy and get a setup. It would cost me, and I would put strings on it because there's no use using factory strings. I don't care what kind of guitar you buy. I don't care if you buy a custom shop Fender Strat. I change out those strings because I just don't, maybe the custom shop $3,000, it gave you a set of strings. But yeah, I don't go for factory strings. I play GHS strings. I've been playing GHS strings for over 30 years. 10 through 52s. Kind of heavy for a lot of guys, or like that 52 is kind of heavy. It is kind of heavy a lot of times. Like I have to like do some mods to get a 52 on a guitar. But you know what? I used to buy these other strings, and they used to give you 2 high E strings. And one day I said to myself, if they give you 2 high E strings, that means one of them's going to break, ain't it? Well, both of them are going to break. Something's not right there. So back then I switched to GHS strings. I love GHS strings. I used to have an endorsement when I was in a band that used to play a lot. And they used to give me strings. And I used to take the strings to the music store, and I would trade them strings, 2 pairs for 1 for GHS strings, so I could play my GHS strings. So they probably didn't like that, but anyway, that's what I play. Anyway, so this, you know what? I mean, like I said, you can't get a body and a pickguard together would be $100 pretty much anywhere. So I get it out. The other thing I do not like is I do not like that headstock at all. Just not me. I just don't like it. But it is what it is. So I'm going to relic this, like I said. But I pulled it out. I just tuned it up. Man, the action is high. Now, I'm sure that I could just adjust the truss rod, because looking down it, yeah, you could make a boat out of that right there. So I'm sure a turn or 2 on the neck, and we would straighten it out. But the action would still be too high. There's a reverse tilt on the neck. So the neck is tilting not the right way. So I don't know why that would be. But what I do is I have these shims. Okay? I get these on Amazon. I think they're 3 for like $25 or $22. This is 0.101. This is the thickest one they make. This guitar needs this shim. Now you could make a shim like this. You could take your heel plate right here and take an old credit card, drill some holes, cut it up. This one I usually got to trim the sides off of to fit in the pocket. But I put these on every bolt-on neck guitar that I play and that I own, because I've never had one that didn't have a good angle on it. I'm sure if you buy a Sir or some high-end guitar, they work that angle out. Generally, though, on Fenders, Mexican Fenders, Squires, and that, for some reason they don't do it, which I don't understand. All they got to do is put an angle on the neck butt, and when they put it in, because you want the neck to be angled downward this way, sloping this way, not the curvature of the neck, just the whole neck. Because I don't know if you've ever played a guitar, you get it set up and all of these are like just hanging out, ready to rip your fingers off or your palm of your hand off. That's because that neck's not. It doesn't have the right pitch to it. Once you put that pitch to it, all of these got to come up a little bit, because the whole neck comes up a little bit, and then everything is just smooth. The Squire Strat that I play with the Mighty Mite neck, that I have 0.025 in shim. The Telecaster with the Strat pickup setup in it, that's got a 0.050 shim in it. That works perfectly. This is the big one. So there's 3 of them that come in a pack. Those 3, the 0.10, the 0.5, 0.05 point, and then the 0.25. And sometimes you got to sand those down too, because that's too much. So, like I said, you could take a credit card and that neck plate and trace it out and cut it out and make one of your own. And you got to sand it. You got to work at it. Stu Mac, they make them out of wood. They're about another $10 for 3. Same 3 sizes. I just go with these nylon ones because it's not going to degrade over time. So One thing when you don't have a shim too in your neck, when you do have a shim in your neck, a lot of guys will have a shim in the neck. Sometimes you could just use a guitar pick because, you know, it's sized already. But if you ever see a guitar right in here, right in the heel, and it's cracking, 90% of the time it's because you got a shim in there, and it's just right at the butt. So then there's all this space in there that you're trying to pull the neck down, and you're putting a lot of pressure on that wood, and that'll crack right there. Well, it won't crack bad. Usually it's just the finish that cracks, but it cracks. So when you put a solid shim in all the way through, it won't do that anymore. So, all right, so I did tune this up. Didn't stay in tune. But, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you got $75 and you want to buy your first electric guitar, I wouldn't hesitate to buy it as long as you have a guitar shop. You know, you could go to Guitar Center or Sam Ash or one of those places, and there's a tech in there, sometimes on Saturday, sometimes Sunday, sometimes all the time. It depends on how big of an area you live in. You know, I go to my local music store and let, you know, my guy work on the stuff. But you need a professional setup. You know, you need the intonation to be set. You need a real set of strings. You need the neck to be, you know. Now, I learned to play on a way worse electric guitar than this because I'm not going to say this out loud, I don't think, but I guess it's going to come out. Back in 1977, when I started playing electric guitar, you know, there wasn't much middle. You had like the low end, you know, your silver tones and that kind of stuff, your Dan Electros. Then you didn't have Squires yet, so there wasn't a lot of middle ground. There was just the low end and the high end. And so that was kind of hard for a beginner. So what are you going to do? You know, now you got so many choices. This is a way better guitar than my first guitar or my second or probably even, not my third, but the first two, you know. So my honest opinion, $75. That's a nice looking guitar for $75. That's a nice thing. You know, sometimes you don't know if you're going to actually keep playing or not. $75 isn't bad, you know, to give it a shot. My suggestion would be to go around and go to your local music store too. Here's my thing. Like I tell people, like go to the pawn shop or whatever. Here's the thing. At a pawn shop, you're not going to get a setup. At Guitar Center, you're not going to get a setup. You know, you got a 30% chance of buying a guitar with a setup at Guitar Center or the pawn shop. If you go to your local music store, like your local mom and pop music store, if you have one in your town, hopefully you do, and you buy a guitar from them, and let's say like it cost you $100 to buy an electric guitar from them, it's almost worth it because you're going to get a setup. It's going to be set up. They don't want you going out the door with a guitar that's not going to stay in tune, the neck is out of whack, you know, it needs an adjustment and all that. He doesn't want to sell you that because this is what he does for a living. So I would personally suggest going to that first, because if you go to the pawn shop and you buy the guitar, or you go to Guitar Center and buy the guitar, you're going to have to go afterwards to that guitar store and have them set it up or someone set it up. So, you know, it's 6 of these and half a dozen of those. You know, but my suggestion is always to go to the music store first. You know, he's probably not doing that well financially with everything going on, so he might even give you, $10 off of a $100 guitar, or, whatever. There's going to be a guitar in there, so. But Glarry's, that's a pretty nice looking guitar. It doesn't play great right now, I'll be honest with you, But I think these Glarry guitars, what they're really good for is if you're going to do a parts caster or a parts telly or a relic job. All right, I cannot see spending $3,000 to do a relic on a guitar. If I spend $3,000 on a guitar, I want a pristine, beautiful guitar. You know what I'm saying? I like relic guitars. I have guitars that I've had for 35, 40 years that look like they're brand new that I take care of. Here's my thing. If I have a guitar that I've had for 35 years that I bought almost brand new 35 years ago and it looks pretty beautiful, I don't really want to take it out of the house and play a gig where I'm going to make $50 on it. That's my thing. Here's another thing. This is my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is how I feel about it. I can play a $200 guitar every night and sound great because I'm playing an amp that costs $1,000. One of my amps probably cost $1,000. If I had $1,200 and I had to buy a whole setup, I would spend 70% of it on the amp, 20% of it on the guitar, and the other 10 on the accessories. Because I think, usually I buy a guitar, I'm changing the pickups anyway. You know what I'm saying? I don't, very seldom have I ever bought a guitar and I'm like, oh, I like these pickups. No, I really don't. And pickups are a huge part of a guitar. People say, wood is a part of guitars. Oh, the wood matters. There's been some scientific proof that it really doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't. It matters somewhat, but it doesn't matter enough to say like, oh, I have to have this Brazilian, specific guitar made out of this. Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. The pickups matter a lot. They really do. So if I'm going to spend some money on a guitar, I'm going to put the money in the pickups. On a guitar like this, where are the pickups? I got them right here somewhere. Here they are. These came from Music Lily. So these are on the Elneco 5s. And this is the one thing I'm going to say when you're buying pickups. If you can see the pole pieces like that, see how you can see the pole pieces? That's a big bonus. These are Elneco 5s on this. Now, I don't know that this will fit on here, but I like the pickguard that's on here. So I'm just going to take the pickups and the knobs and the switch out, and I'm going to put that in here. That's all. Well, that switch, I'm not going to keep that switch. I'm going to get an Oak Grigsby. That's the $12 switch. That's just a beautiful, beautiful switch. That'll go in there. These pots I've used before. I don't like mini pots all that much, but till they go bad, I'll be fine with them. But if you go to get pickups, you buy pickups. And the weird thing is, like, this pickup, these are the same pickups that I have in my other Strat. And they sound great. Now, the pickups that I pulled out of the Strat, which was an Indonesian Squire Affinity Strat with a big 70s headstock. I love the headstock. It's a rosewood neck, which I'm not a huge fan of, but whatever, I was just figured I'd swapping rosewood for rosewood. There's no reason, This was a nice paint job. If you could see like a piece of rubber on the bottom of those, that's not. You don't want to spend money on that. If that's in your guitar and they sound fine, that's fine. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if you're going to spend, I think this was $30. I could have saved $5 and got those pickups with the rubber and it's like you go and look at the wrap and it's just like there's a bunch of tape around the magnet and it's taped around there and whatnot. Nah, you don't want that. I'm sorry, you don't want that. So you want a pickup where you can see that pole piece that it goes all the way through. On the other one, it's just a pole. It's just like a flat piece of metal that's a magnet. You don't want that. That's not going to give you a great tone. Now, are these going to last me 10 years? Probably not. But so that was where I was going to with my point. So my big thing with a Strat is I love to play a Strat more than anything. I love to have these two pickups working together or these two pickups working together, and sometimes just this pickup. Rarely ever do I have just this pickup playing by itself. Rarely ever. That's what I love right there. That sound. This isn't really making it, but that those two pickups out of phase, which is a little bit quieter, but if you adjust all your stuff to it like I do, I just love that sound. Sorry it's out of tune, but I love that sound. So that's a big deal for me. So what I was saying though, as I go, I'll throw those in here, and then when I get a Seymour Duncan, that's what I will put in here. But for $30, I'll start with one. I can't get 3 Seymour Duncans for less than a couple $100. If I can find them used, sometimes I'll do that, and I'll go that route with it. But so I changed the middle one first on these. With the I put the L nut goes in. When I get money, I'll put a Seymour Duncan in the middle, and then I'll go from there. You know, and what I find and whatever, I'll go around. So that's the way I do it. I like to have, you know, the best pickup I put in the middle on strats, or the telly with the, you know, the Nashville specials, which I don't know if you know me. I love Nashville specials because I like the hardtail, you know, where the strings go through the body and there's no tremolo system. But you know, the thing about a strat is with the tremolo and the springs back there, when you go to bend the string, I can't get that on the hardtail, that extra little bend, you know? So there's cool things about both of them. Strats, there's cool things about tellies. You know, I try to make my tellies more like strats. The strat, can you really make like a telly? Nah. You know, if you had one with that, the strings went through the body, I would like to have one of those. But a lot of times on the hardtail strats, they're just flat on the back and the string goes through the bridge. Some guys really love that, you know. Some guys are just sold on that 100%. I'm not. I like when the string and the body are like simpatico in there. So that was my opinion. Stick with me. I'm gonna do this whole guitar up. I'm gonna do a little series on it, how to relic $75 guitar and make it into a playable guitar. So stick with that. And so the $75 Glarry guitar, Glarry, I mean, I think he did a good job. I'm not, you know, I seen some guys that are like, oh, this is a great guitar. It's not a great guitar. Great is not a word I would use. It's an okay guitar. You know, it's worth the money. I really think this is a good guitar for guys like me, hellbillies. You know what a hellbilly is? He's a guy who won't leave anything alone. You know what I'm saying? He's got a pickup truck, you know, got to paint it, you know. You got to put a better carburetor in it. You got to, you know, tear out half the exhaust and put a straight pipe in it, that kind of a thing. So that's what I like to do. You know, you hot rod things. That's what I'm going to do with this. So stick with me. We're going to get that done. Do me a favor. Give me a like. Smash that like button. Bang. Subscribe to my channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're trying hard because we want to do like some live stuff. You know, on YouTube here, I used to be able to go live on YouTube. Like I've got a couple of concerts where we went live, and I swear to God, they must have known it was me because I played one weekend and we played probably 3 hours. We played the next weekend. I went to do a live, you know, of it so it could be on YouTube. And I couldn't figure out why at the show, which I really didn't need to be figuring that out. But I did figure out that if you don't have 1,000 subscribers, you can't go and do, you know, a live shoot on YouTube. I could do it on Facebook. I could do it on Instagram. But I can't do it on YouTube. And I like doing it on YouTube because then it's like there for the, you know, the time and all that. So do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel so we can get to 1,000 subscribers. And then we can go live. I'd appreciate that. I would like that very much. That would really make my 2021 year fantastic. So hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment. If I miss something, if there's something you want to know, if you want to know if I don't put it in the description, okay, Music Lily, they're on Amazon. I get a lot of stuff from them. It's really good stuff. I really haven't had anything bad. I know sometimes the switches people complain about on these, but that's not bad. Glarry guitars, and $75, you can't go wrong. They got some really cool Telecasters right now too, some thin line hollow bodies. Those are cool. Man, do I wish they do a 335. Wouldn't that be cool? I would love a 335. I had a couple, but I don't have them right now. I got rid of them. They were really cool, like weird stuff that people really needed that had a collection that I didn't have the whole collection, so I didn't think I needed, like an Electra 335. Johnny Gadget's got that. So stick with me. If you like relics, this is going to be one for you. Like I said, we're going to turn a $75 guitar into a total player guitar. We got most of the parts already, so stick with me. I'll show you this stuff. We'll have some fun. Hey, have a great day. I will talk to you soon. And give me a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. Tell me anything you want. Say, oh my God, you're such a hellbilly. All right? Cheers, guys. Let your God go with you. All right, right on. Have a good day.